Hi, welcome back. Or if you're just joining, my name is Maya, and welcome to my channel, Cranleyplace, where I'm focused on Hermès scarf style, knot tutorials, and more. Today's video is about one of the scarves I mentioned earlier this year in my video series on Hermès's Spring-Summer 2023 collection. This is a 90cm double-faced silk twill scarf called Epaulettes de Gala. I'll give some background and context for this theme, review available colorways, and show you the one that I picked up on my last European business trip in the duty-free shop. Let's get started. This scarf design isn't attributed to anyone on the Hermès websites that I've seen, but it is reminiscent of one by Caty Latham, issued, I believe, in 1975. Her incredible career with Hermès started in 1965 with a design called Les Clés, which is one of the best-selling Hermès scarves of all time. And over the years, she has literally done dozens of designs with the house. That epaulette design has been reissued multiple times over the years in different formats. There's even an epaulette twilly ring that Hermès issued at some point. So while we may not know exactly who is behind this Epaulettes de Gala design, we know for certain that there is a decades-long legacy with the house, and perhaps even examples within the extensive Émile Hermès collection. While we can only speculate about the designer of this scarf, I can tell you about epaulettes, the history of which is actually fascinating. Epaulettes bear some resemblance to the tarouges of ancient Roman military costumes. The word itself comes from épaule, an old French word for shoulder. However, their direct origin can be found in the bunches of ribbons worn on the shoulders of military coats at the end of the 17th century, which were partially decorative and partially intended to prevent shoulder belts from slipping. The ribbons were tied into a knot which left the fringed end free. This established the basic design of the epaulette as it evolved through the 18th and 19th centuries. In the 18th century, French soldiers began wearing them made of metallic thread or bullion, which were decorated with tassels and other embellishments. The size and design of the epaulettes denoted the rank of the wearer, and high-ranking officers had larger and more ornate versions. Rank could also be determined by whether an epaulette was worn on the left shoulder, the right shoulder, or on both. Later, a counter epaulette without a fringe was worn on the opposite shoulder of those who only wore a single one. It was during the French Revolution that the use of epaulettes became less elaborate and were worn only by officers as a symbol of rank. After Napoleon Bonaparte came to power, he reinstated the use of more elaborate epaulettes and introduced a new system of rank insignia. During the 19th century, French military dress became even more elaborate, with some styles of epaulettes featuring large feathers or plumes. In the 20th century, the use of epaulettes on military uniforms began to decline, although they still remain part of some ceremonial dress uniforms. Today, they're more commonly associated with civilian fashion, particularly in menswear, where they are often used as a decorative detail on blazers and jackets. If you follow my channel and saw the video, you'll know that I traveled recently to Europe on business. And of course, one way I've grown my collection over the years is by shopping the duty-free Hermès boutiques at airports. I was indeed looking for a double-faced scarf from the season and thought it would be Le Jardin des Peintres by Annie Fèvre, Ordinateur by Pierre Perron, or Cheval Serein by Alice Shirley. For the first one, Jardin des Peintres, I tried on the one colorway that the boutique had, which didn't thrill me, and they didn't have the specific one that I wanted. So the second scarf, Ordinateur, the store didn't have any at all, and while they did have a few colorways of the Alice Shirley Cheval Serein scarf, trying them on, they didn't do as much for me as I imagined that they might. Then the sales assistant pulled out this one, Epaulettes de Gala. I'd seen this online in at least 4 colorways, and to be honest, the scarf wasn't even on my radar to try on. The official colorway name translates roughly to pearl gray, pale yellow, and bluish gray. I would never have even entertained this by looking at the photos online, mainly because it looked really white, and I find it hard to keep white silk looking crisp. Also, especially in recent years, I've tended to go for bolder palettes and usually dismissed color combos like this as not suited for my complexion. But I ended up trying this on after the sales assistant suggested it, and much to my surprise, I really liked the way it looked. So pearl gray, pale yellow, and bluish gray. Yes, I realize that does have blue in the name, but it's still gray, right? And I did justify to myself that with the base colors being pale yellow and gray, I could count this as complying with my no more blues rule. Agree? Disagree? Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyways, aside from those colors in the name, other ones that we can see include oranges, browns, yellows, blues, greens, grays, of course, black, and white. Given that, let's think about what kind of colors this could be styled with. This is going to be gorgeous with navy, which of course I have a lot of in my wardrobe, as well as lighter blues. Then there's denim, and I haven't yet met an Hermès scarf that doesn't look great with denim. Or how about an icy pale blue for a more monochromatic look that's both elegant and sophisticated? This will also work with a range of whites, from a crisp white to more creamy winter whites. Like I said, in the online photos, I first thought this was super white, but actually the color is that pearl gray, which is very subtle in real life and definitely not a blinding white. This is also going to work with browns. Beige, of course, which you see in the scarf, but also other browns like cinnamon, bronze, mahogany, chocolate, coffee. The yellows, this is going to work with mustardy yellows, pale yellows. It's also going to look amazing with oranges, of course, as a color wheel opposite to the blues. I have a coral colored dress that is going to pick up those hues and some of the fringe details nicely. I would definitely pair this with reds as well. And if you keep going around the color wheel, pinks and purples, this would look really nice with a light pink, which will add a touch of warmth, or even a soft lavender. Even if those lighter colors aren't your thing, I think darker pink or purple would also work. For example, a rich burgundy dress is going to complement that pale yellow beautifully. Greens, of course, if you look out in nature, that's another easy way of complementing this color palette, both warm and cool greens. Then the gimmies, think about the grays. Think true grays and light greiges. Those are blends of gray and beige. And then, of course, darker grays and blacks. Have I gone around the color wheel? I don't know about you, but that pretty much covers everything in my wardrobe. This is one of those designs that is symmetrically asymmetrical and should offer a lot of styling options based on how it's folded and tied. And I think that these color pairings could work with both sides of the scarf, giving a very different feel. Let's look at a few examples. So there you have it. A bit about this double-faced scarf from the Spring-Summer 2023 collection by Hermès. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and let me know what you think in the comments. In future episodes, I'll share other scarf reviews, tutorials, and more, so be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified of new videos. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time!